What's better than aging Jack Daniel's 12-year? Aging it 14 years.
Christmases came early in 2025.
Love Christmas.
Let's go.
Let's go. Welcome back to another edition of Bourbon Kingdom. I'm David.
And I'm Zach.
And today we are going to review Jack Daniel 14-year.
Man, you know, there's certain times doing this channel where I get super excited.
Yeah. Hey, don't mind me. I'm making noise, but just do your thing.
One of them, I had no clue what he was doing. One of them was whenever this big old wooden box just showed up. Man, why don't we just put that in front of your face the entire time? Wouldn't that look great?
Do I look like Mr. Wilson?
Please put in the comments below if you understand that TV show reference. I mean, everybody's of a generation that watches this. Nobody young watches whiskey, so.
That's probably.
Well, there's a couple.
I mean, literally, this box might be the greatest package box that has been shipped to us at any given time.
I know.
It is awesome. And I don't even know the complete story behind it other than they must have made this out of and just made the box, then charted on the inside.
I know.
Oh, gosh.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
It's got a chart inside. I mean, it is amazing. We didn't plan on putting this out here, but I just want you to know, like, when people decide to do things right, you want to get you want to make a sucker out of me. Put something in a good package, and I am all about it.
In the box.
Yes, put it in the box. There's no head in it, so that's good.
Spoiler.
Yeah,
Spoiler if you haven't seen it.
If you haven't seen that movie,
Yeah, that's on you.
That is on you. But for real, thank you to Jack Daniels. That's awesome that you sent us this. You've sent us the 10 and 12-year samples as well. We just can't thank you enough for thinking of our channel that way in order for us to do that kind of stuff. So we appreciate that. Do us a favor, hit the like, subscribe, turn on the notifications. That way you can be made aware of our videos when they pop up, and all the Patreon, the Instagram, the TikTokers, all that good stuff. Just look us up. You'll find us.
Yep, 1000%.
And while he's doing other talking, I'll go ahead and pour.
I won't lie. I thought that cork just ripped.
I really did too.
I thought that ripped. I was getting ready to cry.
At least you thought the same thing as I thought.
So really quick, yes, Jack Daniels sent us this. They also sent us samples of the 10 and 12 year. So we will have that review out at some point in time. So I always like to be transparent whenever we get sent something, we don't buy it, whatever else. Because I feel like that's important for everybody to know.
Yeah.
But going back to my own personal feelings, whenever I seen these age statements come out, I remember seeing the 10, 12 year thinking those are really nice.
Yeah.
That is fun. Whenever I seen the 14-year age statement come out, I was like, "Oh, so we're not playing."
No, we're not. We're
not playing.
This is being serious. Right. This is the oldest age statement since Jack was walking around himself. Or as Chris likes to say, Uncle Jack.
Uncle Jack. I think so. I think
that's what he said.
Like this is. Said. I didn't write that part down, which my notes are over there, so I can't even see them.
Yeah.
But with that being said, yes. They do not produce a lot of older age whiskey. No. And this is an art for them to do it. And it's not only an art for them to do it, it's also an art form at this proof. This is 14-year-old Jack Daniels. This is 126.3 proof. And it is, oh my gosh, there are very few whiskeys that come out every year that I get this excited about.
Coy Hill,
E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof Rye. Every year, King.
I was going to say, King of Kentucky.
Russell's 15, whenever that came 15 out. Years. So, there are whiskeys that come out that whenever I see the label from TTB, that I'm like, here we go.
Let's do this.
And this is one of them.
Yeah.
So, just talking a little bit about them. This release, I think the Coy Hill was around 28,000 to 30,000 bottles. This will be around 24,000, so this will be a little less. Still a decent amount of bottles, to be fair, for 14 years old.
That's a lot of bottles.
At 126 proof.
That's a lot of bottles.
That's a lot of bottles for what it is, okay? Yes, if this was a standard 4-year-old whatever, that would be different. Yeah. But considering the age and everything, I think that's a lot of bottles. So give me credit on that one. This, how it was aged, at the top of the rick house that it was in for 8 years. And then after that 8-year mark, they move it down to the bottom floor and then age it out. It's a slower aging process. It's just, it's a temp thing. And you got to save the whiskey.
One of the cool things, and it's over here by Zach, one of the cool things with this release was they gave you the slow time in the hollow, which was basically, this was bottled in, this was barreled in 2010, and they gave you the highs and lows of the temperatures at Jack Daniel's, just to kind of give you an idea of the temperature differences that this thing was going through before they bottled it. Which
you don't think about that a lot whenever you're looking at older age whiskey. That's so important.
It really is.
Depending on where you're at. Like, the good thing about like Kentucky, Tennessee, and Indiana as well, you get these huge swings in temperatures. And, Jack Daniel's doesn't have anything that's temperature controlled. It's all just by the elements and everything else. So it gets those big swings in temperature, which is just very unique in and of itself. I
thought that was a cool little touch with it.
These temperatures go anywhere from 4 degrees to 100 degrees.
No, negative 12 is one of them. Negative 12 degrees is the last one.
Yeah, in 2024 is negative 12, 98 degrees.
Yeah.
Good Lord, I feel sorry for those distillery workers.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's wild.
I love it when distilleries do that kind of stuff, just to kind of give you an insight into their, like, what they care about.
Oh yeah.
And just the fact that we generally know that they care about temperature, but for them to make it part of like the packaging and making it part of the experience with getting Jack Daniel's 14-year, they wanted you to know, like, hey, we tracked this kind of stuff, and we just think that this was important to let you know how this thing was aging. So those kind of little things, they don't have to do that stuff, but it's cool when they do.
Yeah, I totally agree. Also, something else I thought that was really important. Like, I thought how they aged it in the rick house was important during our little meeting.
Yes.
And then I like what Chris was talking about with their yeast, and just how they regrow their yeast every week from, I guess, like, I don't know if he said like the mothership of the yeast, or like the prime yeast, or whatever it is, the original, whatever it is. But they regrow it every week, and then they add it to it. And he was just talking about the influences of that. And he's like, to him, it sounded like that was the most important thing. He's like, obviously the oak and the aging process and all of that matters, but he was just putting in there how important the yeast is. And obviously we know, like, us bourbon nerds, like, whenever we talk about all this stuff. By the way, this includes you because you're watching it on YouTube.
Yes.
So welcome to the club.
Yeah. You're a bourbon
nerd. But it's just so interesting because you don't really hear a lot of distillers talk about that part of it. So
yeah, he really did. I mean, he harped on it for a good 5 or 6 minutes of just talking about how important the yeast strain was for them. Okay, so right away on this nose, like, just thinking through, like, right away, this feels like a more natural sweetness to this than the candied sweetness of the 12-year.
Yeah, hold on 1 second. By the way, the price of this is $149.99, and it's being released this month. It was already apparently released at the distillery.
Yeah.
But just so you all know.
So just be on the lookout. If you get Jack Daniel's in your area and you get allocated stuff in your area, chances are this is going to show up there, and just be on the lookout for it. And hopefully it's one that you want to get after we do the review of it.
Yeah.
There's like a tobacco note right at the back end of this that I really, really like.
Yeah, so I agree with that. So there's a ton of, like, on the nose, there's just a ton of sweetness on there.
But it's like a natural sweetness that I like.
Yeah.
Like,
there's just like, yes, I do agree with that. Like, there is like some oak, like, sugar to that as well. But it just like screams like some caramel in there, and it just like, it's desserty. It is so, I would have thought it would have had a lot more char to it.
I would have thought so too. Just by the the packaging box that they sent.
Fair. Totally fair. But it is just so much more sweet.
Yeah.
Than what I would have thought on that nose. And it's like sweetness in a good way. It's like not overpowering. It's not like a finished sweetness or anything else like that.
Yeah. Well, and the crazy thing is that it's changed. I don't know if it's because we're drinking this by itself this time.
Probably.
And so some things have changed, but I like it even more now.
I mean, yes, I agree.
I liked it when we did it in the taste.
We loved it when we were doing it during the tasting.
But honestly, this is way better than it was then.
I know. I think it's kind of, and we just fresh cracked this. So I got it on Friday, and I've been working my fortnight works at work. So I don't drink when I work. Or at work. But
that's a good thing. Don't drink at work.
I haven't been able to open it. So like Dave literally opened it whenever he got here. So
what I like about this is it has that. There's always with higher proof Jack Daniels. There's always like this. I don't know exactly what it is, but even with the Coy Hills and stuff like that, or the barrel proof rise or whatever, there's this little twinge of like spice at the end of it that really kind of, to me, sets Jack Daniels apart in its taste, because it becomes an easier thing to catch with Jack Daniels, where it's like, oh, that's that Jack Daniels spice that's right on the end of their high proof stuff.
Yeah, I agree. And like, this just screams, like, I just can't get over how, like, the nose of this, and it's so different than like Coy Hill or, you know, anything else I can think of that came from Tennessee with a high age statement, or just even like really good proof. Like, the nose of it just, to me, just screams Tennessee whiskey. And it's so hard to describe. Like, this is like the best example of Tennessee whiskey.
Yeah.
Also, maybe it's just me. Maybe it just smells and tastes better just because I'm drinking out of a bougie glass.
It could be the bougie glass.
Could be the bougie glass. I felt like it was needed, though.
Yeah. All in all, if you like...
I feel like I haven't given any notes.
If you like high proof Jack Daniels, you're going to like this.
Man, that oak,
there is a good oak.
So whenever we were drinking on this during the tasting, I didn't feel like the oak was as present as what I thought. And I felt like the proof a little bit was more subtle. And I feel like now that I'm drinking on it a little bit more and I agree with you, maybe it was just part of the 3 samples that we had. More of the oak is showing through. More of that proof is starting to show through, which I love that.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say the oak on the back end. There's a tobacco note, and then it finishes like with a good oak finish to it. And I think it's where the proof lies. And I feel like that's where the proof lies. I
agree. And the tobacco note, by the way, it's like I walked into like a cigar shop.
Yeah,
and people have been smoking cigars obviously in there, and you're just getting like the remnants of it.
Yeah,
and it's not overpowering.
No, it's not.
It's not like you're just like literally soaking in an ashtray, but that smoke note is there, and it is, with that tobacco. Yeah, that is, man. I bet you whenever this opens up, this is going to be fun.
Yes,
like, this is going to be.
I'll be interested
really
at the end of this week to even try it. At the end of this week,
yeah, so, we'll be able to drink on a little bit more as we go.
I think all in all, like, this is definitely worth finding. If you can find it, you're gonna want to try it. But it can also be polarizing too. I think we talked about this in the tasting, and I thought it could be more polarizing than it was.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be.
I think it's, as we're talking through this, I do think it's, I think it's probably more universally liked than not.
Whenever we were drinking on it for the first time, Chris was doing his thing talking about it, and Dave and I were talking, and there was so much more Tennessee funk on there, and I was like, man, I love this. And then whenever you said, you're like, yeah, but I think it might be a little polarizing. I said, it probably will be, but I said, it's still great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, it won't be, I don't know if it'll be everybody's jam, but now with just a smidge more airtime, and maybe, again, not drinking it with multiple things here all at once, it does so much more.
It's really good.
Yeah.
That's really
awesome.
good. And this early in the year, but I could see that still making top 20.
Oh, this will make top 20 for sure. This will be somewhere, and the year is so young.
Yeah, so young.
We're only still in February.
So young.
But this is definitely going to be a top 10 contender. Yeah. I think. So
I do too. I like it a lot. So, all right. Well, tell us what you think. Tell us if you've had it. Tell us if it's dropped in your area or if you've gotten your hands on it somehow already. Love to hear it. Love to know your notes on it. And if not, just be on the lookout for it because, Jack Daniels is pretty much everywhere. Pretty much everywhere. So the chances of this being allocated in your area is probably pretty high. Just be on the lookout for it.
I would say this. If you've seen batch 2 of Coy Hill, there's probably a good chance you'll see this.
Yeah. That's a good because
if there was just a little bit more than what was made in that, like I said, that was around I think 30,000 bottles, and this is supposedly around 24,000 bottles. So if you just look at numbers like that, if you got one of those or you got multiple of those, or if you at least seen them, in theory, you should be able to see this. I would think.
Well, till the next time.
We'll see it.
We'll see you.